The final Monday night of the century was also the end of the Monday Night Wars in its current format, with the last ever full head-to-head week between Nitro and Raw, with WCW cutting back to 2 hours starting next week from 8 to 10, and for WCW just 7 days after shooting one of the biggest angles of the year with the reformation of the nWo to go against Goldberg. Things couldn't have happened at a worse timing for the company, with Goldberg smashing several limousine windows on the Thunder taping on Tuesday to come inches from losing his arm, with him written off television for surgery to put an end to the Goldberg vs nWo storyline everything was built towards since the start of the Russo-Ferrara regime a day after it started, giving the company a major blow, in addition to Bret Hart starting to feel concussion symptoms and almost crashing his car when driving away from Goldberg on Thunder 6 days earlier, with Seed taking Goldberg's place at the sold-out pay-per-view main event against Bret for the belt. With Goldberg now off television, another major name to miss tonight's show is Scott Hall, reportedly being taken off after going off script during the opening nWo promo on Thunder by doing his usual nWo survey, which got mixed reactions, with the idea of not giving the crowd any opportunity to cheer the new group and present them as full heels. As minutes later, when Goldberg came out to respond, he got a mixed reaction going against the nWo, which then led to an alleged Goldberg-Hall backstage confrontation, with the survey part of the interview edited off the show. WCW's big segment of the first hour saw the return of Scott Steiner to announce his retirement after not recovering from back surgery, with the announcers hyping it as a shoot announcement, with Steiner set for another surgery in the next few months, with Scott's last match taking place at the Slamboree pay-per-view against Bagwell in May to cut off the hottest run of his career. Steiner explained the situation in an out-of-character speech, saying that he went back to the doctor for an MRI to learn that he had a degenerated disc and needs another surgery, saying that it's hard to take as he's been wrestling all his life and wanted to go out on his own terms, with the nWo interrupting to get him out of the ring, attacking the producer who told them to cut to a commercial break, with Nash making several worked-shoot comments towards WCW's Turner supervisor Bill Bush in response to him taking Scott Hall off the show, telling him to stay in his office in Atlanta and let them take care of the wrestling business, with the Steiner nWo segment to close out the first hour jumping to a 4.3 rating, Nitro's highest rated quarter in over a month, crossing into the first head-to-head quarter, with Seed and Benoit coming out for a brawl and mostly in Harlem Heat tag match. The final Raw show of the 90s opened with DX out for a promo, as Triple H said that the group in the ring is the near-perfect completion of the perfect plan, with the only thing missing is the WWF title, booking himself against Big Show for the belt in the main event for the completion of the plan, with him promising to open the new millennium as the new champion, building up a strong possibility of a title change to happen tonight, before Mick Foley interrupted, cutting a promo running down every member of DX and bringing up them being with him in the ring exactly a year ago when he won his first title before being jumped by all four to bring out Rock for the save, clearing the ring, with Hunter saying that the WWF is not big enough for all three of them, booking a Rock vs Foley match with the loser getting fired tonight, as Raw opened with its highest rating in a month, 5.7 rating. After usually dropping big in the second opposed quarter and due to also starting at a 2.6 rating, Nitro maintained its viewership for the first half hour, holding steady by putting on a Bret Hart title match against Jerry Flynn, with Nash and Jarrett at ringside going 4 minutes with Bret retaining, with the next 2 hours set to feature a Lethal Lottery Tag Tournament for the Outsiders titles booked by Bill Bush, while Raw had Tori coming back to Kane and Chyna against Crush Holly with Hardcore on commentary. WCW continued the tag tournament while running a show-long angle of Nash calling Scott Hall several times promising that he will be here tonight before the main event, while Raw also saw several tag matches including a Four Corners match with four of the top teams in the company and a Kurt Angle vs Headbangers handicap match in the same quarter, with both shows tonight coming in front of over 30,000 people, with Raw in front of a sellout 14,000 at the Greensboro Coliseum while Nitro came in front of 16,000 at the Houston Astrodome. With the powers that be Angle written off TV to put the full focus on the nWo, the political game behind the scenes continued, with several camps trying to one-up each other while others were waiting to see who falls first to pick a side, as with Russo publicly saying over the last week that there are people in the company trying to stab him in the back at every chance they get, referencing Sullivan and Dillon in particular among others. Reports came out on increased tension in creative meetings with more involvement from Bill Bush, including being mentioned on TV for the first time, with each side trying to influence him in their favor. Raw closed out the first hour with Mick Foley hyping his match with Rock, burying the stipulation put on it by DX, saying that while his career is winding down and Rock's best days are far ahead of him, he's gonna do everything it takes to win the match, while apologizing to the crowd in advance for what might happen, followed by Al Snow cutting a heel promo on the crowd and a Snow vs Jericho IC title match. Nitro opened its third hour having Jeff Jarrett vs Billy Kidman going 8 minutes for the US title, with the match facing strong competition on the USA Network, going head-to-head with the Rock vs Foley match, leading to it dropping to a near-show low 2.2 rating even with Nash and Brett at ringside for support, ending with Jarrett going over to retain, followed by another nWo beatdown on the Filthy Animals. Raw had its biggest viewership spike of the night at the top of the hour, as with Rock and Mankind having one of the memorable matches in show history to start the year. Rock and Foley also closed it against each other in their final singles match after a record-breaking 1999, going 6 minutes in the pink slip-on a pole retirement match, with Rock going over followed by a Foley retirement speech, saying that it's no secret that he plans to retire sometime next year and has given the audience a lot to remember him by in the last 15 years, to a standing ovation from the crowd, with the Rock-Mankind match jumping over 1.1 million viewers to the peak quarter of the night 6.5 rating. Nitro rebounded over 400,000 viewers between 10:15 to 10:30 at a time the show will already be off the air starting next week, having Lex Luger doing a Sting parody after being written off TV with an injury angle at Starrcade, along with a Meng and Finlay vs Harris Brothers tag match going 2 minutes with Meng and Finlay brawling throughout. Next on Raw was 2 matches in a quarter, first with a Four Corners intergender tag match followed by a fast-paced X-Pac vs Jeff Hardy match going 4 minutes, along with Mick Foley going to thank the production crew before leaving, and a comedic skit of Henry, Harvey, Moolah and Mae Young at a restaurant, with Russo saying several times in the last few weeks that he wanted to bring Randy Savage back on television after already having a planned angle for him but couldn't due to his contract dispute with the company. Rumors on Savage potentially jumping to the WWF were increasing by the week, with his WCW deal expiring in the next few weeks, with him set to return to the ring for the last time under his current contract, replacing Bill Goldberg against Trick Steiner at the Tokyo Dome in Japan next week. Nitro jumped over 500,000 viewers to its highest opposed quarter of the night, next having David Flair and Crowbar in a tag match against Vampiro and K-Rages doing a 2.7 rating, with the post-match seeing Lenny and Lodi, who were legitimately taken off TV in their previous characters after complaints from Standards and Practices, returning as a parody of them, saying that any outlandish behavior will be removed permanently from their television show before being beaten up by Flair and Crowbar, while at the same time Raw had Kane vs. Test going 3 minutes. After closing it in the previous quarter, the gap between the shows grew a full rating point in the final quarter, with Nitro taking 2 commercial breaks while in the middle having a 5-minute Bagwell and Canyon vs. Disco and Vito tag match, dropping to a show low 2 rating along with the entrances of the main event, with Nash still waiting for Scott to arrive, while at the same time Raw also had a tag match with Too Cool vs. the Outlaws going 3 minutes for the tag belts, along with Triple H bringing security to kick Foley out of the building, picking up to a 6 rating. Big Show and Triple H came out 3 minutes from the top of the hour for the title match, with the intrigue of a possible title change on TV after Hunter hyped him going into the new millennium with the belt, along with the planned Foley vs. Hunter match for the Rumble pay-per-view, with the match starting seconds from 11 p.m. going 6 minutes in the overrun, ending up with Big Show taking out DX before Hunter hit a chair shot to the head for the finish just as Foley returned to the building to set up Show, retaining to a big reaction, with the match in the final opposed draw main event of the Monday Night Wars era jumping over 800,000 viewers to a peak 6.6 rating, with Raw's formatting and show layout set to have 2 major time slots from next week, with the second 10 to 11 hour expected to do huge numbers on a weekly basis. Nitro crossed over 11 p.m. with Nash still trying to buy time until Hall arrives to the stadium, before starting the final tournament match alone against Cena and Wall, to end with Nash and Hall advancing after Brett and Jarrett's interference, bringing out Benoit for the save, followed by Scott Steiner, looking to run off the nWo before turning on Cena to reveal an nWo shirt and rejoin the group, revealing that the Scott Nash was talking to was Steiner instead of Hall, with WCW ending the final 3-hour Nitro taking one of its longest overruns in show history, going 11 minutes past the top of the hour, closing the show with the nWo driving Cena's car to the parking lot and running it over with a monster truck, with the main event and post-match angle, which included 5 minutes unopposed, picked up over 1.2 million viewers to a 3 rating.